Okay, I think we'll look to make a start now. Once again, thanks to those who have joined us for today's CreditorWatch webinar. Today's title, obviously right there for you, Enhance Your Accounting Packages with CreditorWatch, specifically looking at our integration with Xero and MYOB. So my name is Patrick Coughlin. I'm the MD at CreditorWatch. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And just a few things before we get started. For those of you who have joined us, fairly standard. Slides will be available and sent to you within sort of 48 hours. We're also recording the webinar itself, and this will be sent through as well. So feel free to pass that on to colleagues, or if you unfortunately have to duck off sooner rather than later before we get to the end, don't be shy about obviously having a look at it later on, and don't feel that you're going to miss anything. From a Q&A point of view, if you've got any questions along the way, we've got a team waiting to respond to them. So within the GoToWebinar dialog box, you can actually ask questions and we can respond to you. If your questions are a little bit require a little bit more of an in-depth explanation, either over the phone or via email, we'll get back to you after the webinar itself. Also, feel free to just provide us with feedback. If you're an existing CreditorWatch customer and are using the Xero and MYOB integration, feel free to post any comments that you might have about it. We love to hear from our customers. A lot of our innovation is driven by customer feedback. So don't be shy, whether it's negative, positive, or neutral. Pop it in there, and we're always keen to take it on board. At the end of the survey, when I'm finished, I'm going to run a little bit of at the end of the webinar, when I'm finished, I'm going to run a quick survey, which will just ask a few questions about how we can hopefully improve the webinars, the content, and just get some feedback about how you think it went. But first off, let's run a quick poll. Which accounting package do you currently use? Now, we've obviously got Xero and MYOB there. However, I've given you a couple of other options, Intuit QuickBooks or QBO, QuickBooks Online, they call it, Reckon, and that could be any Reckon product, Reckon One, APS, etc. And then I've got other in there. So just select other if you're using a different one, and feel free to comment in the questions panel exactly which accounting package you use if we haven't provided one of the options there for you. It was obviously limited space. So I'll give that another couple of seconds for you to fill out, and then we will keep moving on with this. This just helps me get a better understanding of how many of you can integrate right now, and also what other packages we should be looking at integrating with in the future. Okay, so as expected, the majority of you are using Xero and MYOB, the two biggest ones in Australia at the moment. Probably a little surprising that none of you are using Intuit QuickBooks or Reckon, and 33% of you are using something else. So as I said, feel free to let us know exactly which other ones you're using, just so we can take that into consideration when we plan our development and we plan out who we're going to integrate with next. So getting back to the presentation, so a quick agenda here, just a little bit about CreditorWatch for those of you who may not be familiar with who we are and what we do. I'll touch on our small business risk review, which is a quarterly insights that we just released for the Q3 of 2017. We'll obviously then look at integrating your Xero and or MYOB accounting package with CreditorWatch. That'll include a live demonstration, how to do it, what it looks like, and obviously touch on the features and benefits. So it won't be a long session today. For those of you who have used CreditorWatch before or are current members, everything we do is very simple and easy to use. It's very intuitive, and we do provide a number of videos and help section, etc., to get you along. So a little bit about CreditorWatch. We're Australia's leading commercial credit reporting bureau with over 50,000 customers, and that's ranging from your small businesses all the way through to your public companies. We've got a various selection of credit reports credit reporting products available, along with monitoring and alerts. So you can load up a list of your debtors, for instance, and we'll send you email alerts when they get into trouble elsewhere, be it administration, court actions, payment defaults. Really important information that you need to know about, particularly if they owe you money. We've got a suite of debt collection tools as well, and we've actually just relaunched our debt collection tools section, a number of new tools available, and we've provided a little bit of automation as well. Apply Easy is our online credit application and decisioning solution. So whether you bring on 5 new customers a month or 5,000, it's a really good way to move away from the old school paper-based credit application form, get an online application up and running. We provide you with everything. We replicate your questions, terms and conditions, and it gives clients the ability to apply with you online and still hand sign PDFs or utilize electronic signatures if that's the way you want to go with. So the quarterly small business risk review that we run, it's looking at and aggregating data from a whole bunch of different sources, both public, private, our own customers, and it includes information on payment defaults, court actions, trade payment information. How are people paying their bills? What can you expect from doing business in a certain state? Has there been an increase in the number of court actions happening lately, et cetera, et cetera. So we pull that all together and we provide a nice what we call risk review. It's a PDF infographic that you can obviously download and go through and see hopefully some helpful insights for you, depending on what you're interested in looking at and where you might be based. So I just want to jump into another poll here and ask if any of you use any automation for credit management in general. So that could be, obviously, you're already using, for example, the CreditorWatch integration. You could be using CreditorWatch. You might be using another bureau. You could be taking advantage of the automated debt collection software that's out there. Xero, MYOB, most of the accounting software providers nowadays will give you the ability to set up automated invoice reminders, for instance. So anything like that, just trying to get a feel for what people are using, what people would like to use. Obviously, I've got other there again. So if there are certain things that you use, I've only got so much space to put in there. Feel free again to comment in that question section. Let us know what you're using. We're always interested, both from just to understand what our customers are doing out there, but also from a innovation point of view. It could be that we can start to develop similar tools within the CreditorWatch system as we move more towards an end-to-end credit management system that will allow you to onboard customers, do credit checks on them, monitor them, access debt collection tools, etc. So we're always interested to get that customer feedback and be aware of things that we might not be aware of at the moment. So another couple of seconds. Okay, so 55% of you are not using any sort of automation for credit management. A few of you are using the automated debt collection letters, which is probably a combination of third-party software and Xero or MYOB automated collection. CreditorWatch, great to see 35% of you. Automated SMSs, it's something that is been around for a while. It's not utilized by a lot of people, but it is it is quite powerful given the number of given the fact that we're always on our mobile phones nowadays. It's a good way to engage with people straight away. So thank you for that. And if you're using anything else, obviously jump into that questions section. So let's talk about the MYOB and Xero integration itself. So we are a official add-on partner for both Xero and MYOB. So we exist in their app stores, so to speak. And what it allows you to do is pretty much a single-click integration between CreditorWatch and the Xero or MYOB account that you have. We integrate the data together with our credit reporting insights, and ultimately that performs 2 tasks. It's going to give you a better understanding of which customers you should be doing business with and which ones pose a risk to your business. So that's the risk side. And then on the automation side, it's really helping to automate that credit management process so that you're not missing any information that could result in a bad debt, both at the credit reporting stage and also the ongoing monitoring side of it. Everyone's very busy, particularly small and medium business owners who use this type of software. So it's not always, due diligence isn't always high on the priority list. And that's where this integration can really ensure that it always happens automatically. So at present, we support MYOB Essentials Live and MYOB Account Right Live. We are looking at other additions, most likely MYOB Advanced. And of course, Xero, they just have that one edition and we integrate with that one. We're also looking at additional accounting software providers out there, like a few of those ones I flagged earlier. So as always, feel free to get in touch when it comes time to sort of evaluating and assessing which ones we should do. It's events like this webinar that we take evidence from to start putting a case together around which ones we should be integrating with. So let's take a look at the integration itself. So for those of you who haven't seen CreditorWatch before, and for those of you who have, this is our dashboard. So this is ultimately where you can perform all of your tasks, credit reporting, set up your alerts and monitoring, see your high risk list, so all the companies that you're doing business with that have some negative information against them. And in the top here, you'll see an accounting tab. So what that's doing is taking you through, in this case, to our Xero one. It's giving you a little bit more information on exactly what you're going to get, and also giving you the ability to actually link to your CreditorWatch account. So I've got a demo account set up. I'm going to allow access, and that's going to take me through to the onboarding process. So the first time we set this up takes a few minutes because it's pulling, obviously information from your Xero account, and it's going to take you through an onboarding process. So what we've seen here, integration has been successful. We've identified 24 contacts within my demo Xero account. 6 have been flagged as high risk, and 12 of those contacts don't have an ABN. Okay, so it's giving us a bit of a summary there. The next step here is it's going to say, ultimately, do you want to monitor your contacts? So we can see that I've got 4 active contacts. Now, active means that there's an outstanding invoice, and then I've got an option to just monitor everything. So I always take that monitor everything option. At the end of the day, they might not have an outstanding amount with you now, but they could have an outstanding amount with you very soon. So you're better off taking that option and monitoring them. That's going to add it to your watch list. And going forward, should any of those customers go into administration, have a payment default lodged against them, or something like a court action, we're going to send you an email alert letting you know that that's taken place, and hopefully you can react to that, reduce your risk, or close down that particular account. We'll also provide other things like ASIC changes, be it address, director, shareholder, or even status changes as well. The next step is giving us the ability to assign ABNs to our contacts. So as I said, I had a number of contacts in my Xero account that didn't have an ABN assigned to them. It's really important to assign an ABN to your contacts. One, from a debt collection point of view, if you ever have to go to court, try to wind someone up, get a court judgment against someone, you need to know exactly which entity you're trading with. And the best way to do that is by identifying their ABN and ACN. And then secondly, to get the most out of this integration, by having the ABN and ACN, we can start to push those credit reports to you and provide you with the monitoring and alerts as well. So I'm going to just show you exactly what it looks like when I start assigning. So you can see here, I've got 12 that are missing ABNs. This is the information that's in Xero, so not a huge amount of information, but it's saying Yarra Transport, location, so it's giving me a postcode. It's telling me that there's $550 outstanding. I'm pretty confident that it's this, Yarra Couriers, so I'm going to assign an ABN to the contact. It's then going to move on to the next one, and I can obviously continue with this to work out exactly which ones the best fit. I might have put them in very quickly and just said, oh, Bank West, but it's actually, you know, Bank West Conveyancing, for instance. So just to give you an example of how easy it is to identify exactly which businesses you should be doing business with and helping you to assign that ABN. If you're unsure, you've got the skip company option here as well. So let's have a look at the other bits of information that this integration is giving you. Please keep in mind that the MYOB user interface and process is almost identical to this. So for those MYOB users sitting watching this now, it's also going to follow pretty much exactly the same process to integrate, onboard, and then use moving forward. So this summary section is pulling in a lot of high-level information from your Xero account: total receivables, total overdue, max outstanding overdue, and max account overdue as well. You can click on any of these buttons and it's actually going to take you through to a list of all of those outstanding accounts. Okay, really helpful. What it's also doing is showing you the aging on those, so you can start to prioritize which ones you should be collecting from and which ones, you know, potentially haven't fallen due yet. Just started the onboarding again. The next step down is we provide a couple of stats around average days to paid. So there's two sort of statistics or two methods of assessing these out there. One's days sales outstanding that some of you might be familiar with, and the other one is days beyond term. So we work both of them out for you, but you can toggle away if you prefer to use one or the other. If you jump into the help section, we actually provide an actual description of how they are calculated and why they're calculated that way. The other thing we'll do is start to have a look at how your age trial balance is sitting. So looking at the total amounts that are sitting in each of these aging buckets. All right, so we can start to bring this all into your credit reporting space, and then it's really easy to start accessing the credit reporting information on top of that. The next tab we're going to look at is what we call high risk. So this is the same as the high risk list that exists within your CreditorWatch account. However, what we're also doing is pulling in any outstanding or overdue information. So we can see that we've got a number of customers here that have adverse information against them. In particular, we've got Bloomer Constructions. They owe us $50,000, which is overdue, and I can see that there's a payment default, an insolvency notice, court action, and they're under external administration. So this is the sort of entity that I need to be either getting in contact with them or the administrator straight away, or closing that account down and stopping any more goods or services being provided to them. If I click through to that actual credit report within CreditorWatch, for those of you who have seen or use CreditorWatch, you'll notice that I've got 3 additional bits of information that have been added here. So this is the invoice that's overdue, and you can see how much it is. And by clicking on this, it takes me back to that Xero integration as well. So really helpful. I can see that these guys are in a serious spot of bother and I'm owed a significant amount, so I need to do something about it. If I was to receive an email alert on this particular company, for instance, a payment default or a court action, it's a really good way for me to identify, you know, what sort of risk rating they've got and also how much they owe me at that point in time. The next one here is not monitoring. So these are basically all the contacts that exist in my Xero account that we've pulled through, but I'm not monitoring them for alerts. The fact that they all owe me money suggests I really should be monitoring them. I can do it one at a time, or I can just click monitor all active or monitor all, okay? So that adds it to the monitoring list, and I'm going to get updates along the way as changes occur. Jumping on to top 10, this is giving my top 10 lists for both accounts outstanding, overdue, and oldest invoices. Again, this is a good way to see exactly who owes you money, who should I be collecting from straight away. And then by clicking on any of these links, it'll actually take me straight through to their credit report. So I can go, these guys owe me quite a bit of money, and it looks like they're in you know, a bit of financial strife at the moment. a number of court actions and insolvency notices, adverse information. So this is something I should be addressing very quickly. The other thing you can start to do is go, okay, well, I know which ones I need to collect from. I can jump into the debt collection tools section, and I can actually start to generate, letters of demand, 90-day overdues, reminder notices, etc. So it starts to all link in, and that's really automated as well. By selecting one of those, it's really quick to pull in the information, including when you have the business name or the ABN, and you're already monitoring it. So just jumping back to the summary page there, really straightforward. We're integrating and pulling that information on about a 5-minute cycle from Xero. So it's being kept up to date in an almost live environment. So you can always jump in here to have a look at where your sort of risk is sitting, or alternatively, for instance, if you receive an email alert, you click on that link, that data that you see within the credit report is going to be almost live as well. So you can be very confident that the information that you're seeing is important, and you don't have to sort of jump into Xero itself to actually get a second opinion, or get a second opinion from the source of truth. So just to reiterate some of the features that I demonstrated there. So once linked, CreditorWatch will analyze your outstanding debtors and compare them against their credit files. Importantly, what we're going to do is we're going to identify those debtors that have adverse information against them and are therefore, the biggest risk to your cash flow. They're the ones you need to be dealing with almost immediately. We're going to automate credit reports for you. So after you add a new contact into MYOB or Xero, CreditorWatch will automatically email you a credit report for that company. So if you forget to jump into into CreditorWatch and run a credit report, we'll actually send you one proactively, so you can have a look at that straight away. On the off chance that they are bad, and hopefully you haven't sent any goods or provided any services to them, it's a fantastic way to avoid those bad debtors up front. The name match tool, so that's the ABN matching, whereby all of the contacts that you have in your Xero or MYOB account, when you don't have an ABN, we can assist in matching those entities to an ABN, so you know exactly who you are trading with. And then enriching your credit report. So as I demonstrated with those 2 credit reports, you can actually see exactly how much they owe you, how they're paying you, when you have a look at that credit report. So there's no need to jump between CreditorWatch and Xero, for instance, to see that. So the key benefits, just to touch on those again, automate your credit management process even further than some of you are already doing. Ultimately, it's going to help you avoid bad debtors. You want to know exactly who you are dealing with from an entity point of view. It's going to assist you in cleaning up your database, which is really important from a credit management point of view as well. And you can gauge credit risk and outstandings in the one view altogether. So fairly quick webinar there. I just want to say thank you all for attending. For those of you who aren't using CreditorWatch, feel free to jump onto creditorwatch.com.au, use that link there. You can sign up for a free trial, and you can integrate your Xero or MYOB account if you have one immediately. If not, you can trial CreditorWatch without the integration. We've got a 14-day free trial on at the moment, so feel free to do that. If you're an existing customer, they're the 2 links for you to click on in order to integrate with Xero or MYOB. If you've got any questions, obviously just get in contact with us. Contact details are on the website. We've got an upcoming webinar on the 22nd of November. So if you're keen to register for that, we're going to be discussing how to better understand CreditorWatch credit reports. So we'll actually take you through the credit reports that we provide, rather than that sort of quick high-level view I gave you. We'll take a time to go through everything from the score, payment predictor, looking at all the risk information, directors, shareholders, etc. So for those of you who are interested in that, whether you're a customer or not, feel free to join us for that webinar as well. Ask questions if you have any. If not, We're going to have a quick survey that's going to start in a second or two, and I would really appreciate some feedback on how this webinar went and what you would like to see in the future. Thanks very much.